Hello, everyone, and welcome to something very, very special, at least to me. And I hope that you will enjoy us. Now, as you can see here, the name of this game is The Forest of Doom by Ian Livingstone, and down here, Fighting Fantasy. Now, what is Fighting Fantasy? Well, first of all, this game here was released in 2014 by, was that Tin Man, I think it was? It said it's an indie developer. Well, they got the license for this, for Fighting Fantasy. And Fighting Fantasy is, well, there's a whole freaking story about this. The history of Fighting Fantasy. Well, I'll tell you just briefly a little tiny bit. Two people in the UK got together, they became friends, plus a third friend started a company. You may have heard of this company. I believe they started it around 1975. This company was Games Workshop. This was well before 40K. And I was about to say Pathfinder for some reason. Maybe no. Rogue Trader. That's it. There's before that stuff. Now they started off doing a magazine and doing the starting of some like miniature stuff for Hex Encounter war games. And believe it or not, was it in Wisconsin in the U.S. There's a huge wargaming scene's been going on there for years, kind of thing, around this time period, and that was around the time that Gary Gygax and his friend, whom I forget his name, developed Dungeons and Dragons. They sent Games Workshop a copy of D&D. And they reviewed it. Now I'm going to fast forward a bit in time here. And in 1982, they released a book published by, I think it was Penguin Games. We will be going through the whole history of this as an extra much later on. And the name of this book was Warlock Firetop Mountain. It was a single-player kind of role-playing tabletop adventure book, choose your own adventure thing. That kind of thing. There really wasn't anything before that. And it was a huge hit. The Forest of Doom was like, I think, the 5th book in the series. Now, I started actually playing these books, like getting them. I think a friend had them, or I forget how I learned about them. But it was around 1985. Seriously. It was around 1985 that I started playing these. And I still have some of these books. And I used to have Forest of Doom. So when I learned that they were actually releasing these games, it's just like, what? Really? I quickly went into Steam and they happened to have a bundle for sale for 5 of these books. And so we're doing this one, the first one here. I think it was the first one released, or it was around the first one released. Now, I've kind of rambled on. I've skipped over, like, I wanted to say so much more. I said Steve Jackson. Now, there are 2 Steve Jacksons in the gaming industry. You had Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone, who created Games Workshop and Fighting Fantasy and all that stuff in the UK. Then there's Steve Jackson Games in the US. 2 different Steve Jacksons. Just happen to have the exact same name. So, let's get that clear. So, now, as for how this actually works, I believe in these first few books, they did it exactly like as if you had the actual book. Their latest release, I believe, is Warlock of Firetop Mountain, and it is more of a animated thing going on. We will eventually get to that book, but let's jump into this one and play The Forest of Doom. Now, we need to make a character. And I don't know exactly what's involved in this. So hang on, let me check that. You have no more bookmarks? Okay. That was weird. Anyways, The Forest of Doom is a fighting fantasy game book, an interactive adventure in which you are the hero. You can only win by choosing the correct path, finding equipment, avoiding traps, and surviving combat. Before embarking on your adventure, you must determine your own strengths, and weaknesses with a series of dice rolls. Yes, you actually had to use dice in the original game. 2d6. Sometimes you're rolling 1, sometimes you're rolling 2. You have in your possession a sword, some leather armor, and a backpack containing provisions, food, and drink for the trip. You have been preparing for your quest by training yourself in swords play and exercising vigorously to build up your stamina. Is this for the next page? Okay, no. Okay. You must first choose from one of 3 difficulty settings. Oh, well, that's obviously different. This gamebook has been designed for optimum challenge on the adventure difficulty mode. For newcomers to fighting fantasy, we recommend adventurer or free read modes. For older readers already familiar with printed versions of this game book, we recommend hardcore hero mode. Please note that the ending of The Forest of Doom has been changed in hardcore hero mode to make it hard. Oh, now that's kind of cool. Adventurer, play The Forest of Doom exactly how Ian Livingstone designed it. Very little has been changed from the printed version. Your starting stamina is calculated by rolling 2d6 plus 12. You are also given unlimited bookmarks, which act like placing your fingers between the pages. Anybody who ever played these games, because they were meant for kids, did it, you would be like, okay, this finger's for that part, and this finger's for this part, and that finger's for that section on that page, and you had your fingers all over the book and trying to read and figure out. That's exactly what you used to do. It was funny. We may do the adventure mode just because it is just like the original book. Nothing's changed. If you have beaten The Forest of Doom in adventure mode or have read the printed form of this game book before, I have, but I don't remember it. It was. Let's not figure out the years, okay? Yeah. I know how many years it was. More than 30. I've read the printed form of this gamebook before. Test your courage in Darkwood Forest with the ultimate challenge. Your starting skill is calculated by roll. Oh man, you can't even get... Your skill is normally die 6 plus 6. So you can get a maximum of 12. There it's 10. So by rolling die 6 plus 4, so that's making you weaker. You also start the adventure with no provisions. You still receive unlimited bookmarks. And the free read that, well, let's go over it anyways. Play The Forest of Doom like an old school cheater. Free read is set up the same as adventure mode, but is different in that it gives you 3 options to easily negotiate your way through the book. Back button, you can move backwards to the previous page. Should you take the wrong direction, you can now back up and choose another path. Free choice button, you can unlock all links irrespectively of whether they are available. so you can easily negotiate tricky parts of the story where you require certain items. Heal me button. I think we will do the adventurer, although I am very tempted to do the hardcore hero. But let's do the adventurer. You have chosen the adventurer mode. Before continuing, you must calculate your stamina. If your stamina is getting low, remember to eat some of your provisions. Roll your starting stamina. No. There we go. So you click on the dice. Whoa. That's a fine. Determine your skill. A skill is we got 9. Not too shabby. Now, when I played as a kid, I had max stats always. Luck. Your luck score indicates how naturally lucky a person you are. Luck and magic are facts of life in the fantasy kingdom you're about to explore. Your starting luck is determined by rolling 1d6, adding 6 a number. Typically what happens is when you're forced to roll luck, your luck stat will then decrease by 1. I never did that. So I also had 12 all the time. Oh. Would have been nice if we had a better number of that. Next, you must choose a potion to take with you. Okay, so in addition to your other starting equipment, you may take 1 bottle of a magical potion which will aid you on your quest. You may choose to take a bottle of any of the following. Restore skill points? No. Potion of strength. I'm probably going to do that a lot. It seems like it's pretty high up there to trigger. Potion of fortune. Restores luck points and adds 1 to your initial luck. These potions may be taken at any time during your adventure, except when engaged in battle. Taking a measure of potion will restore skill, stamina, or luck scores. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to take the Potion of Fortune. Their initial level on the Potion of Fortune will add 1 point to your score before luck is restored. Each potion contains enough for 1 measure, so remember to use it wisely. Once you have selected, you may begin. May the luck of the gods go with you on the adventure ahead. See, as you can tell, this is just a book. But still, you are an adventurer, a sword for hire, and having been roaming the northern borderlands of your kingdom, having always spurned the dullness of village life, you now wander the lands in search of wealth and danger. Despite the long walks and rough outdoor life, you are content with your unknown destiny. The world holds no fears for you, as you are a skillful warrior, well practiced in the art of slaying evil men and beasts with your trusty sword. Not once during the last 10 days since entering the northern borderlands have you set eyes upon another person. This does not worry you at all, as you are happy with your own company and enjoy the slow, sunny days. Hunting, eating, and sleeping. It is evening, and having feasted on a dinner of rabbit, spit roasted on an open fire, you settle down to sleep beneath your sheepskin blanket. There's a full moon, and the light sparkles on the blade of your broadsword, skewered in the ground by your side. You gaze at it, wondering when you will next have to wipe the blood of some vile creature from its sharp edge. These are strange lands, inhabited by weird and loathsome beasts, goblins, trolls, and even dragons. As the flame of your campfire gently dies, you begin to drift to sleep. Images and images of screaming green-faced trolls flicker through your mind. Suddenly, in the bushes to your left, you hear the loud crack of a twig breaking under a clumsy foot. You leap up and grab your sword from the ground. You stand motionless but alert, ready to pounce on the unseen adversary. Then you hear a groan, followed by a dull thud of a body falling to the ground. Is it a trap? You slowly walk over to the bush where the noise is coming from and carefully pull back the branches. You look down to see a little old man with a great bushy beard, his face contorted with pain. You crouch down to remove the iron helmet covering his balding head and notice 2 crossbow bolts protruding from the stomach of his plump. There we go. Chainmail-clad torso. Picking him up, you carry him over to the fire and stir the dying embers into life. After covering him with a sheepskin blanket, you manage to get the old man to drink a little water. He coughs and moans. He sits up rigid, eyes staring fixed ahead, and starts to shout. I'll get them! I'll get them! Don't you fear, Gillibrand. Bigleg. Bigleg is coming to bring you to the hammer. Oh yes, indeed I am. Oh yes. The dwarf, whose name you presume to be Bigleg, is obviously delirious from the poison-tipped bolts lodged in his stomach. You watch as he slumps down again to the ground, then whisper his name in his ear. His eyes stare unblinkingly at you as he again starts to shout, Ambush! Look out! Ambush! Ah! The hammer! Take the hammer to Gillibrand! Save the dwarfs! His eyes half close, and the pain seems to ease a little. As the delirium subsides, he speaks to you again in a low whisper. Help us, friend. Take the hammer to Gillibrand. Only the hammer will unite our people against the trolls. We are on our way to Darkwood in search of the hammer, ambushed by the little people, others killed. The map in my pouch will take you to the home of Yazutromo, the master mage of these parts. He has great magics for sale to protect you against the creatures of Darkwood. Take my gold. I beg you to find the hammer and take it to Gillibrand, my lord of Stonebridge. You will be well rewarded. Bigleg opens his mouth to start another sentence, but nothing comes out except his last dying breath. You sit down and ponder Bigleg's words. Who is Gillibrand? Who is Yazutromo? What is all the fuss about the dwarvish hammer? You reach over to the still body of Bigleg and remove the pouch from the leather belt around his waist. Inside you find 30 pieces of gold and a map. Jingling the coins in your hand, you think of the possible rewards which may await you just for returning a hammer to a village of dwarves. You decide to try and find the hammer in Darkwood Forest. It's been a few weeks since your last good battle, and what is more, you are likely to be well paid for this one. With your mind made up, you settle down to sleep, having taken back the sheepskin blanket from poor Bigleg. In the morning, you bury the old dwarf and gather up your possessions. You examine the map, look up to the sun, and find your bearings. Whistling merrily, you head off south at a good pace, eager to meet this man, Yazutromo, and see what he has to offer. Now, turn over. Your walk to Yazutromo takes a little over half a day, and you arrive at his stone tower, dirty and hungry. As the tower is set back on the edges of Darkwood, some 50 meters from the path you have been following, it is difficult to find. Finally, you walk up to the huge oak door somewhat relieved to find that it does exist and that, Big Leg had not been speaking wildly in his delirium. A large brass bell and gong hang from the stone archway. As you ring the bell, a shiver runs down your spine, and you realize that the loud bong invades a deep silence, which you had not noticed before. There are no sounds of birds or animals to be heard. You wait anxiously at the door and hear slow footsteps descending the stairs from the tower above. A small wooden slot in the door slides open and two eyes appear and examine you. "Well, who are you?" demands a grumpy voice through the hole. You answer that you are an adventurer in search of the Master Mage. Yes, Ramon. Yes, oh my god. Intending to purchase magical items. From him to combat the creatures of the Darkwood Forest. Oh, well, in that case, if you are interested in buying some of my merchandise, you had better come up. I am Yestromo. He then turns slowly, climbs the stone stairs. Will you? We have a choice of draw your sword and attack him, or follow him up the stairs. We're not going to attack him. Believe it or not, in some of these books, it is possible to die within like 2 choices of starting an adventure. I remember one... something assassin? Space assassin? Something like that? I think I still have the book. But right at the beginning, you find a panel that has like 3 buttons, and if you get the thing wrong in the order that you press them, just a blinding white light. You were actually trying to defuse a bomb, and if you get it wrong, you set it off and vaporize yourself. Anyways, you follow the huffing and puffing old man in his tattered robes up the spiral staircase to a large room at the top of the tower. Shelves, cupboards, and cabinets line the walls, all filled with bottles, jars, weapons, armor, and all manner of strange artifacts. Yajiromo shuffles past the general clutter and slumps down in an oak chair. The only way I'm going to be able to do these recordings is with a cup of tea for my throat. He reaches into the top pocket and pulls out a fragile pair of gold-rimmed spectacles. Placing these on his nose, he picks up a piece of slate and chalk from a table next to his chair and begins to write frantically. He then hands you the slate. Hang on. Potion of healing, 3 gold. Potion of plant control, 2 gold. Potion of stillness, 3 gold. Potion of insect control, Let's see. Holy water. Plant control. Rod of water finding. Let's see, what else have we got? We should grab the healing potion. Potion of healing costs... anti-poison. Boots of leaping. Hang on. Ring of light. No. Yeah, we're going to increase our strength. Okay, that's all I'm going to buy. It tells you that all the instructions for use are written clearly on the labels attached to the items, together with their suggested use. He sighs and tells you that unfortunately the magic in the items only works once, but they are best you can buy for the money. Yasmero then asks you the reason for the purchase of the items, and you tell him your story and your decision to continue the quest of the luckless Big Leg. Ah, yes, Yasmero says slowly, rubbing his chin. I heard that the good dwarves of Stonebridge had lost their fabled warhammer. Without it, their king is unable to arouse his people, despite the fact that the hill trolls threaten his village. Rumor has it that an envious king of another village of dwarves sent an eagle to Stonebridge to steal the hammer, which it managed to do. But as it flew over Darkwood, it was attacked by Deathhawks, and the hammer dropped into the forest and was lost. Apparently, 2 forest goblins found the hammer, but could not decide who was to keep it. They wrestled for hours, but gave up. Then they discovered that the handle unscrewed from the head, and the argument was settled. One kept the head, the other kept the handle. Then they parted, each happy with his new treasure. Who knows if they still have them? So I'm afraid your problems are doubled. I can tell you that the head is made of bronze, and the handle is made of polished ebony. Both head and handle have the letter G inscribed on them. Your task is not easy. Good luck. You thank Yasmero and leave the room by the spiral staircase. Turn to 177. Outside, in the bright light, you notice the dead quietness again. A narrow path leads northwards from the tall grass surrounding Yasmero's tower into the dense undergrowth of Darkwood Forest. In a few strides, you are surrounded by the dark and tangled forest. Stones and knotted roots seem to hide in the shadows, and you can almost believe that they are trying to trip you. The light fades quickly, and the air becomes moist and unpleasant. Deeper and deeper you go into the gloom. Eventually the path forks on either side of a huge old tree. Go west, go east. We're going to stop right here. Yep. We're going to stop right here. So I'm going to put a bookmark here. Okay. So, I do hope that you enjoyed the first of this series and other books to come. The bundle that I bought has 5 books. It's this is just pure nostalgia for me, and I love it. So yes, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe down below for more videos like this and of other videos. But until when next we meet, please do be safe, everyone. Bye.